you need to have characters playing for Rangers that can withstand the pressure of playing for that club. So you think, well, they've signed guys that can't cope with the pressure. That's on the guys signing them and recruiting them. But there's also
that's Thelwell's gig. He designed that post for himself. Yeah. He wants to be the guy that's got the final say in recruitment.
Yeah, but there's also some Rangers fans that think, look at some of these signs and think, you know what, some of these guys on paper look like good players, and it's the manager not getting the best out of them. So therefore, do you think, well, if and when it comes time for Martin to go, which looks, like you say, looks inevitable, the next guy who comes in, he might say, you know what, I can work with some of these guys that have been signed. I mean, you've got guys who are internationals. I mean, Asgard had a great week for Norway. You get Osama started well at one point, kind of drifted at times. Again, Ant-Man the same. There's a few. I mean, you look at Majovski up front, a proven player. So you think maybe there's some good players in there. You think your boy Cornelius that scored a ripper for Canada last week. That's what a goal that was. He needs to settle in as well. So you think is it the manager, is it the players, a combination of both? And if it is a combination of both, then everyone needs to carry the can for that to be the case. Do you know what I mean? And also, it's the guy who picks the manager and the guy who recruits the players. So I don't know if you can judge that just now because it's so malfunctioning under the current manager. That are these players better than they're showing, or is this as good as they get? Really?
And that's what I don't know. I look, Mick, and they look like a group of players that don't believe in the instructions that they're being asked to carry.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Does somebody else get a tune at these guys?
Yeah.
These guys, is this their baseline? Is this just the way they are? And therefore, that's a problem because it's going to be a hell of a long season if this is the way they are. With relegation stuff, the way it's going. If there is something or someone who can get better at this group of players, then that's a different question. Do you know what I mean? And at the moment, I don't think we know because it looks like a lot of these players aren't really cutting it. Some of them, I think, look as though they'll get potentially to be good players, but at the moment, they're not performing. So as it stands, they're all on the firing line, like you say. I think Thelwell isn't this question is getting asked because a lot of money's been out the door this after summer.
And if you were Andrew Kavanagh, could you, in all good faith, look at what's happened over the first few months there, and put your trust in Kevin Thelwell to make that choice? That's the point, Mick. That's going to be the crunch.
He has put his trust. He has put his trust in these guys. Listen,
I know, but do you do it again? If you make the same mistakes over and over, eventually the Rangers fans are going to start aiming their anger at Andrew Kavanagh and the Americans if they believe that they're falling into the same trap, trusting people that can't be trusted.
Well, I mean, this is the thing that the American owners at Leeds they're relying on guys on the ground knowing what they're talking about, knowing what they're doing, because they listen. For all due respect, they're coming from America. They're not football people. I mean, Andrew Kavanagh wasn't sitting at 5 years old watching games watching reruns or sports scenes. You know what I mean, from back in the day. So he's relying on these guys on the ground and listen, in believing and trusting in them. It has done at the start. Guys like Patrick Stewart and Thelwell. Unfortunately, these guys will get kind of checkered kind of histories in the game as well at times. You know what I mean? It might talk a good game at times. But he's
a lot of that going about, Mick.
Well, listen, the game's absolutely epidemic proportions with BS guys. But so he's put his trust in them so far. And how long can that last? How long do you go? Wait a minute. This is not the vision I'm trying to enroll here. I need to have faith in these guys doing the job. At the moment, it's malfunctioning.
Yeah. Craigie says Martin must go now, along with Thelwell. Various others saying very similar things. Look, I tell you what, Mick, why don't we? I caught up to discuss this very point with Record Sports' Andy Newport earlier today. Let's get Andy's take on it. Andy, I'll start with a simple question, nice easy one. Is it possible for Kevin Thelwell and Russell Martin to survive?
Yeah, and it's certainly possible. We've seen stranger things happen. The fact that he's got, he's going to be given another week, he's going to get another chance, of course. If he can somehow get a performance on Saturday against Hibs, then yeah, he can survive. Is that likely? I don't think so. But and if a chance for him, whether it's a big chance or not, I'm not so sure.
And if he doesn't, though, Andy, I mean, this is the point. I've written a column in the paper today pointing out where I think Thelwell has to be held accountable for all manner of issues that are around, and not least the appointment of Russell Martin. If Russell Martin falls over after such a short space of time in the job, is Thelwell's position untenable at the club, Andy?
He's certainly in the spotlight. Listen, it makes absolutely comes as no shock to me to see certainly Kevin Thelwell standing behind Russell Martin, because he's, as you say, it's culpable for the mess Rangers find themselves in as the manager, as being the man who appointed them, being the man who, I think we've all said, who disregarded the very loud concerns that the Rangers fans had before this appointment was made. You know, even ourselves in Hotline Live, when Russell Martin's name first came into the conversation back in the summer, we spoke about our own surprise, given his track record.
I think I dismissed it, Andy. I think I said, well, on what possible basis could you give Russell Martin, or would Russell Martin have earned a shot at a job of this size, given what just happened to him at Southampton? On no credible basis did he look like a serious, or like he should have been a serious contender. I
remember just saying that, I remember reading out some of the facts, the very basic facts and figures about his managerial career. I think he came to Glasgow having managed something in the region of 250 games, in which he'd lost as many games as he'd won, in which, for this, as again, the supposed, attacking minded coach, his goal difference was +4. Well, his goal difference now is in minus figures in terms of the Premiership, 5 games in here. Yep, small sample size, but as we've said time and time again, there is no evidence that I can see that things are turning around anytime soon. It seems, from everything we've been told, that the club are standing by him and are prepared to give him time. I think it's to his benefit right now that certainly Andrew Cameron and Parag Marathi were not, and even Patrick Stewart was not at the game at the weekend. I think if any of them had witnessed the ferocity of the fury that we saw at the weekend, I think their view might have been changed. Listen, we all said at the start of the season that this might work in their favour. This detachment from Glasgow, the fact that they're not here, having people
having to live and breathe every second.
Little things, but this is a major thing. You've had a record equal in defeat, and you're pretty much staring at a title race being over after 5 games. Now, if you go out to Hibs and that's another trophy out the window, then I'm not really sure how much a leg Russell Martin's got left to stand on at that point. So, so I think that next week crucial for him. But then again, I thought Saturday would have been crucial for him as well. So, maybe the new board are they seem as being bulletproof for the time being, that they're prepared to give him time to get this right. But as I've been saying all along, if it was a decision to be made by supporters, it'd been gone at least a fortnight ago.